Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again. Right, two things before I start. Firstly, yesterday's video said I had 650 followers, I think, here on YouTube. I've now gone up to 655 in the sort of 24 hours it's taken me between videos. So thank you to the 5 new subscribers. I really do appreciate it. It's very kind of you. And today's deck's going to be a bit different. As you usually know, the decks I cover here on the YouTube channel are ones I'm going to play on stream via MtGO. But I had a request for this deck, and unfortunately the commander for this deck isn't available on MtGO yet. I'm hoping it will be in the future. I'm sure at some stage Daybreak Games will get around to programming this card in. But I said I would do it anyway, so here we go. This is purely if you're going to be playing in paper. So we've gone with Alaundo the Seer today. That's what I've been asked to cover, so that's what I'm covering. 2 green and blue for a 3/5 human shaman. Has one of the most interesting abilities, I think, that I've seen for a while. Tap, draw a card, then exile a card from your hand with the number of time counters on it equal to its mana value. It gains when the last time counter is removed from the card. If it's exiled, you may cast it without paying its mana cost, and if it's a creature, it gets haste. And then you remove a time counter from each other card you own in exile. So basically, Alaundo gives any card you want suspend. And therefore it gets time counters on it, and you can remove all the things that take time counters out. Why it doesn't do that, I don't know, and I can't see why Wizards haven't programmed in. There are similar cards. Gahira Jahita, is Gahira Jahita the red blue one that does the same thing? There's already here. Not quite sure why Alundo's not doing that. I'm guessing something to do with removing time counters from each of the cards is a problem. But anyway, I'm sure they get around to it eventually. But yeah, so we're going to have a look at how I build this in paper today. And this is hopefully what the person who asked for it is looking for. So here we go. So to start with, 22 creatures in the deck. Apocryphite's first one in. We can just play this as a 2/2 that gets killed off. It comes in with suspend, and then yeah, it comes back as a 4/4. That's fine. I've got no issues with that at all. One of the most important creatures in the deck, though, is Jahira's Time Bug. We can choose a target permanent you own, you control, or a suspended card you own, and then you can either add a time counter or remove a counter from it. So yeah, this is just another way of speeding up the cards you suspended with Alaundo. Kura's Follower lets you untap Alaundo to do it again. And then we've got the new card. Hold on, because I'm not overly impressed with that version of it, so we'll do that one. There we go. Tag him in, Master Opportunist. Has Flurry. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, copy it, then exile that spell with 4 time counters on it, and if it doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend. Okay, so casting our second spell gives us a copy of it there and then. It then goes to suspend land, and then we get another one back. Yep, makes perfect sense to have this in the Alaundo deck. I am going to look at Tagamak at some stage as a pure commander deck, just so you're aware. Bounding Crassus just lets us untap Alaundo once we have Alaundo in play. Same with Puppeteer and the Vizier of Tumbling Sands. And then we get some of the things we don't mind suspending. So we've got Solemn Sim, they're in. We like having the extra lands. We like having a card when it dies, it's fine. Sphinx Forgotten Lore comes in from the Foundations. When this creature attacks, target instant or sorcery card in our graveyard gains flashback, so that can be useful. Urza, Lord High Artificer, is also in, just because, well, we're playing a blue deck and we need some way of potentially going off. So yeah, Urza does that for me. And then another one coming in from Tarkir Dragonstorm is Ambling Stormshell. Ward 2, 5/9. Whenever this creature attacks, put 3 stun counters on it and draw 3 cards. We're not casting any other turtle spells, but with the amount of things we've got that can actually untap things, yeah, we should be able to attack, draw the 3, and then use one of our tricky things to untap it, so we can do it again next turn. So the stun counters really don't matter. I mean, you know, yeah. If that card, permanent or card as a time counter, doesn't work, so yeah, but it's the way it goes. It's fine. I was just checking for my own knowledge. Defiler of Dreams in, just so we can draw small cards, so we cast our blue permanents. Seedborn Muse untaps everything. We like Seedborn Muse in decks like this. Because don't forget, Alundo's ability is not sorcery speed. You can do it at any time, therefore doing it every turn is going to be really annoying for your opponents. Consecrate Sphinx, so whenever an opponent draws cards, we draw a couple. That's always good fun. Curator of Destinies also comes in from Foundations, just to do the Fact or Fiction ability when it hits play. And then we have Lumara, Bellow of the Woods in to help us get our, we like having a big creature, so this one works. Same with Avenger Ascendicar, really. Who doesn't like having an Avenger around? Broodcaller Scourge also comes in from the Dragon and Tarkir, Tarkir Dragonstorm commander set. Deals combat damage to a player. You can put a card, permanent card, mana value less than or equal to that damage from your hand onto the battlefield. So yeah, okay. Everything that costs 5 or less is a target for this, basically. So Seedball moves backwards with some of the other things we've got coming up. Canopy Gargantuan is also one of the new dragons from the commander set from Tarkir Dragonstorm. But this one I really do like. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a number of +1/+1 counters on each other creature you control equal to that creature's toughness. This gives people fits already, seeing it happening. And then a couple of the more traditional creatures. Hullbreaker Horror has to be here just to annoy everybody. Como Cosmo Serpent gives us all those lovely little serpents every turn and gives us an ability to sacrifice them off. And Deep Sea Kraken. There you go. You can suspend this on turn 3 and watch your opponents go, oh yeah, whenever we cast a spell, if Deep Sea Kraken is suspended, remove a time counter from it. This comes down pretty quickly because it's commander at the end of the day and everyone's casting spells. Sorceries, we have 15. We have some ways of getting things. So we've got Ancestral Visions to start with. Lets you draw 3 cards, spend for 4 turns, but with Alaundo in play, you can probably get this done even quicker. Preordained, Serum Visions for a little bit of off-the-top scrying and drawing. And then Farseek for some ramp, along with Nature's Law, 3 visits, and Rampant Growth. There you go, I'll get them all in order. Also playing Gaia's Blessing, just so in case we do end up against a mill deck, we can shuffle everything back in when it goes pear-shaped. Search for Tomorrow is just a standard suspend card. I like to suspend this on turn 1 if I have it in my hand, or turn 2. Turn 3 I'll probably cast it, or plus, but suspending it's not the end of the world. Rite of Renewal, just to return 2 permanent cards from our graveyard to our hand, and then we can shuffle 4 cards from our graveyard back into our library. The Rite of Renewal gets exiled, but it's not a bad one to suspend with Alaundo. Venture Forth just does the whole let's suspend and have the land trick. Beholder's Charm Ray, also known as Bribery. I love using Moxfield, but some days, There we go. Go and nick something from an opponent's library. If someone's playing a big creature deck or a big dragon deck, go and nick one. That's fine. Echo of Eons to do the whole shuffle everything into our from our hand and our graveyard into our library and draw 7. Inspiring Refrain goes to suspend land and draws 2 cards every so often. And then Time Spiral, which you can take out if you're building this in paper. I know how expensive this and the Echo of Eons are, but I'm playing them, so I'm suggesting them as cards. Another way of just shuffling your hand in your graveyard into your library and drawing 7 new ones. Instance. Brainstorm, Pongify, Rapid Hybridization, Counterspell, Mana Drain, and then a few cards I do want to talk about. Clock Spinning is important. This one's come up with the Doctor Who version. Just basically you want to get 4 mana and just keep buying this back if you can, just to take those time counters off a target permanent you've got exiled. And then Dramatic Reversal is very nice because you untap all your permanents you control. All non-land permanents, I should say. So it does help occasionally and surprises people. Artifacts wise, we have quite a few, I'll be honest. Usual type of ramp stuff to start with. So Tantalite, Talisman, the Elixir, as you know my wording on that. Sol Ring, Arcane Signet, Medallion of Emerald and Moss varieties. Moss, Emerald and Sapphire variety. Then we have the diamonds in as well. But Sky Diamond, I'll do the rest of the ramp. Talisman of Curiosity. Then we have a few things that help Alaundo speed up. Illusionist Bracers, whenever an ability of equipped creature is activated. If it's not a mana ability, copy that ability. So, yay. Mage Right Stone, untap target creature with an activated ability with tap and a mana cost. Yep, okay. Puppet Strings, tap or untap target creature, just helps out a little bit. And then 1000 Year Elixir, you may play the activated abilities of creatures you control as though those creatures had haste, and then untap it. Lots of ways of getting 2 uses of Alaundo a turn, or maybe more if you're lucky, basically. So, yay, that's fun. And then finally, Lithothorm Engine can do the same thing. But you can also do the whole copy target permanent spell you control, which can help occasionally. Enchantments, just 3. Retreat to Coalhelm, so we can untap creatures. when we drop lands. Wilderness Reclamation, so we can untap all our lands if we need them for some reason at the end of our end step. And then Virtue of Knowledge does the whole instant, the Vantress Visions. It's the first thing to copy a targeted, activated or triggered ability. So there you go. And then we don't ever need to play it again after that, because if a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, it triggers additional time. Not really got many of them, but you know, having the Vantress there gives people something else to aim their disenchant effects at instead of your retreat to Coral Hell. Lands 36. Alchemist Refuge is here just so we can play spells as though they had flash. And then I am playing the raceways. The Amotech one's here just so we can have haste on some of our big stuff. We've got the other version somewhere down there, the Muganda one, if we could get the max speed at to basically add 2 mana to our mana pool. And then everything else is what you expect in a green-blue deck, to be perfectly honest. Morocco's here, Reliquary Tower's here, Temple of the False God, Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth, and blue-green dual lands. And we've got slightly less forest than we have islands, because most of the deck is blue, to be honest. And we've got Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth to pick up any shortfall we have with the forests. But that's it. If I was building Alaundo in paper, this is how I would build them. So yeah, I'm hoping at some stage we do, like I say, get it on MtGO, so I can actually play this on MtGO, because I do actually like the card. I have thought about it a few times. I own Alaundo in paper from the Commander Battle of Baldur's Gate set, so I don't know, we'll see. If it hits MtGO at some stage, then we'll be playing it on the stream. But anything you think I've missed out? I know there's some of the Doctor Who cards that interact with time permanence. I'm very aware of that. But I'm not great on the Doctor Who cards yet, and I didn't know which ones to put in. So if you've got any suggestions, please leave them down below in the comments so I can have a read of them. And that will help the person out who requested this deck as well. If you haven't been here before, lovely to meet you. Please hit the subscribe button, help me out, I do appreciate it. And if you want to see me play any of the other decks I've talked about on stream this week, and on YouTube this week, and the one that's coming up tomorrow, give me a follow. There's a link down below to my Twitch stream, so come and see me over there and play them over, and I'll be playing the decks over there, well, apart from this one. But hey, sometime in the future we might get there. Thanks for watching, take care, see you in the next video. Bye.